who is also the focal person on matters of disability at the Commission. For me, it has been a journey in the disability world for very many years that we used to rescue children with albinism. When I served as a manager at the Knchr Society for the Blind, sometimes going an extra mile, even where our own lives were threatened in the course of our duty to rescue children like the one that Martin mentioned today. It was not an easy task, and I recall the work we did with the Mheshimiwa Isaac Mwaura. And they would acknowledge, if he was in this room, the journey that we have walked together. Even when he found me at the Knchr for the Blind and I gave him a job, the first task was to ensure that we protect children with albinism. Many years down the line, I can now see the fruits of our labor. When I look at Jane, who is in the room today, Jane, I feel very proud that it has been a very, very long journey that we have walked to be where we are. The kind of stigma that persons with albinism go through, and the obstacles they meet on their way sometimes block their progress. Do you remember, Jane, our journey started when you were in Mosoriot Teachers Training College, where apparently you were a teacher. And we did a lot, and I'm very proud of you. That again, Commissioner Amalwa, after that, of course, I want to give the story of Jane so that I inspire more persons with albinism, wherever they are. Then upon completion, again, while I was serving at the Knchr for the Blind, I had an opportunity of affording some scholarships to Kenyans. And Jane was among those 10 I was able to give scholarships to abroad to study. And when she came back, we said, what can you do for society? And we said, Jane said, I need to work for persons with albinism. I want to be the champion. And that gave birth to Positive Exposure Kenya, where again, Jane is the founding director, and Dr. Mogesa here is the founding chairman. Can I see the team from Positive Exposure? Please stand up. Please stand up. Commissioner, you can see that this is how we have impacted on society, and I know we will go to greater heights. Lots of karibu Mheshimiwa. You can now take a seat. Karibisha Senator Mwaura akuje pale ya mbele. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Mwaura. We have just started. A few remarks have been made, and I was just giving a very brief of the journey we have walked to advocate for the promotion and protection of the rights of persons with albinism in Kenya. And in your absence, I mentioned the journey in this country and how far we have stood for the rights of persons. We are still working that particular children with albinism in the appropriate schools, rather than forcing them, for instance, to learn Braille. This is an aspect even my Honorable Mwaura has never accepted, that we must force children with albinism to learn Braille. That position has not changed, and this is one of those things that we'll keep on advocating to ensure that this does not happen. We look forward to a lot of support to persons with albinism on accessing health facilities, especially the sunscreen which has been mentioned here, and even the cancer screening. And I remember, I think it was last year or the other year, when we were in Mombasa, and then we had a lot of cancer screening that was done free, and we also call upon the partners to support this worldwide cause. As I move towards completion, I would like to mention that again, we have been working around the Disabilities Act of 2003, and I know, Mheshimiwa Mwaura, you have walked along this journey, lakini hatujaimaliza bado. I have not seen the new law, Director. That's the position. So that means still the journey is long, Mheshimiwa Mwaura. That again, what you need in Parliament to have this, move through the processes, the obstacles probably that you faced in the House. I know you will still work with us to ensure that we have this law, in place, and of course in tandem with the new Constitution of Kenya, 2010. As a commission, I take the opportunity, therefore, to welcome you to this International Albinism Awareness Day, so that we celebrate the successes we've had, and we also acknowledge the challenges that we have, and also come up with a roadmap on how to overcome those obstacles. With these few remarks, I now have the single honor of welcoming Dr. Dennis Wamalwa to give his remarks, and thereafter invite Mheshimiwa Isaac Mwaura, my very good friend, to come and also talk to us. This is our day, Mheshimiwa. Karibu tena. Commissioner Wamalwa. Karibu sana.
Good morning. All protocols observed. Good morning once again. CEO, with due respect, I wish to probably welcome Dr. Isaac Mwaura, a great friend of mine, to say a word, at least before I proceed. Daktari, karibu sana. Sorry, I hope you did not ambush you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much, CEO. Thank you very much, Commissioner. I'm very delighted to come here today to speak to us on the day of the International Albinism Awareness Day celebrations. It is a really great day, and I'm happy because I no longer have to organize for these things. My friend Daniel Omeno there will tell you that before I used to be the single organizer for these events. From the time we used to celebrate 4th of May to 2015, when honestly, single-handedly organized the one at KICC. But 8 years down the line, we have this celebration by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. And let's clap for Knchr. And also we have just had a talk at Safaricom. Then there's a main celebration in Kwale. There's a group in Machakos. There's another one in Busia. And others that I may not be aware of. So that means that issues of albinism have come of age. For a long time, I was the one speaking, in a room. But I know now I don't have to, because Jane Waidera is there, looking very pretty, together with another, friend of hers there called Ivy Knchr, who is also in the mainstream of human rights, and a young lady there who is aspiring to be like those two great women, and of course my good sister here, Sarah Nyakirangi. You see, you know each other. Yeah, so I am happy. I'm happy to be here. Allow me to read something, and then I'll be done, because this is a very, very important occasion. So this is my message for today. But before I do so, Dr. Dennis Omalo, I think Dr. Mogesa, who I must say one day gave me a job somewhere. Yeah, these things are very interesting. I am happy because Knchr has adopted two issues for me that I kind of brought to the commission in a way. Issues of albinism and issues of intersex people. Yeah. When we started out on this, they could not even be seen to be in the mainstream. But the Knchr has taken them to become really like the flagship of the commission. So I think, thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is the first report for people with albinism that you can talk about by a human rights institution, national human rights institution. So for you to find resident with Knchr, I'm very happy. Also, I'm receiving calls, by the way, from people in Mashinani, in Nyeri, for example, in Kiambu, being called to participate in the intersex persons bill. Yeah, so I am happy. For me, I'm like a father kind of, seeing my babies growing. And I'm happy, because these are minorities of minorities. Remember also, Knchr played a very critical role to have the two questions in the 2019 census. Yes. So officially now we have data that is reliable for persons with albinism and also for intersex persons. So Dr. Mogesa, thank you very much. I mean, having worked with our institutions in disability, including but not limited to Kenya Society for the Blind, and also Dr. Dennis Omalo. When I first presented the intersex persons petition in Parliament, and you sitting here today, or standing here today, as the first commissioner who is intersex. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And why am I saying so is because I'm also the patron of the Intersex Person Society of Kenya. A society that really helped found together with others, James and Ryan. And I used the model of the Albinism Society of Kenya to do it when we founded it together with others like Grace Mumbi, the judge of the Court of Appeal, Alex Knchr and others. So you can see how one group of minority also can be useful to another group of minorities. Yeah. So when we celebrate International Albinism Awareness Day, we are not just celebrating albinism, but also albinism as a cause that can inspire other people to also believe in themselves. Yeah, and there are many people in this room, I'm sure Jane Wedera, people who look up to you, and also come to you and say, we also have our own issue that is similar to yours, that they derive a lot of inspiration. For example, we in the disability movement draw a lot of inspiration from women's movement, for sure. And it's amazing. The other day I came across a conversation that is happening in America about the Baptist church not allowing women there to become pastors. In the 21st century, really? Honestly, with all this progress, that women cannot be pastors? And some people are owning up to their misinterpretation of the Bible. One of them, who you may know, called Rick Warren, who has written a book, Purpose-Driven Life, was saying that he refused to see what the scriptures were providing because he was using his culture to interpret the Bible. So it is actually possible to use culture to interpret the human rights provisions, so that then you use the same rights to subjugate others. I know we can argue about the open-ended nature of human rights, but why not for the human rights why not for the human rights-based approach? Most of us will not be standing here today. I've had a privilege of being a member of the National Assembly, courtesy of the human rights-based approach. Because it's out of that the Kenya Constitution 2010 had provisions for special interest groups and positions for that, which I was able to be the first person to be an MP, and later on to be the first person with albinism to be senator, and now the first person with albinism and disability to be a chief administrative secretary. Yeah, which is But also, when I left Parliament, another new one has come called Martin Pepela. He's now unelected, member of Parliament for Webuye. Not nominated, but elected. Is that not progress? Yeah, and he was our first employee at the Albinism Society of Kenya. In fact, he came looking for a job from Knchr slums. And he cried so much at the Kenya Society for the Blind. I did an interview for him. He missed 76% of the marks, but we still get him a job. Today, he's an MP. And another one who looked very confused there around KSB called Aseka. He's now a second member of the county assembly. So that's the progress we are making. And of course, we can also remember Knchr, who really topped the whole country. We remember her. She's now studying at USIU. I believe she could have gone to a better school, but I don't think USU is a bad one. Yeah. And also Kamano, James Imwari, who is the king of Mero music. Yeah. He's really, really famous. Although the star the other day when they were doing those pictorials, they wrote the albino musician from Mero. Surely. I mean, he's just a musician. Why do you have to say the albino musician? I take offense on that because I write for them every day. But let me finish by reading because we can talk a lot. There could be many other people who are doing great things, but we have not won the war. There is Davis, there is Malombe. I don't know if it's James Malombe. He's a famous Musongo Kyobe from Mukambani, the famous radio presenter. But he's now suffering from skin cancer at Knchr National Hospital. So skin cancer remains our greatest threat. Yeah. By the way, when I was young, I never used to think that I would reach 40 years. Yeah, I'm now 41. But I had a belief that I would not last long. So that is not because of anything. It's because for sure many people with albinism never lived for long. So that remains to be a challenge. We still have people with disability, people with albinism being dismembered in other jurisdictions. But let me finish by saying this as I conclude. Message on the International Albinism Awareness Day on 13th of June 2023. Theme, inclusion is strong. Happy International Albinism Awareness Day, dear brothers and sisters. It is true that we need to be involved in all spheres of life. And yes, we are all gifted and differently. The society still treats us as one size fits all. This is the essence of prejudice, stereotype, and low expectations on us. We usually don't look the part, and more often than not, people find it hard to accept it when we make our contributions. We must, however, continue to demonstrate to the world that we've got to what we've got to offer without shying away
Wow. I must really acknowledge that